Former CJ Maraga has publicly put out a statement, as well as done a media presser or briefing, saying that President Ruto'S laws that were sent to, especially just between that period when Raila Odinga's demise was announced, and then the country trying to reel from the effect and the shock of Baba is now gone. These laws, I believe, was there 6 or there are more. There are more. And specifically the Cybercrimes Act, where they're trying to criminalize dissent and gag voices of people that possibly are speaking up against the ills or the evils or the wickedness or the oppression that probably the government has meted on them. And we saw that during the Gen Z protests even last year, when Safaricom tried to do their thing. And when I remember when Chief Ndegwa, that is a CEO of Safaricom, when he was cornered and asked, they were saying, there was an undersea cable thing. The undersea cable guys came out and said, you know what, we have not experienced any hitch on our side, so we have no idea what the hell you're talking about. And also the issue of even data, I think an 11.5 million data deal that was supposed to have been sealed, it has just been exposed. Now allegedly Safaricom was involved. So there's things that are happening behind the scenes that are just but the thing is, they don't want them to be exposed or talked about. Who would have known their Danny deal was the most hellish thing that would have happened to our airport? But they don't want it to be exposed. When you say something, they send people to abduct and torture you. If you want to, I believe, if you want to rule people well, then establish a relationship with them. In fact, even the owners of some of these social media platforms, what you need to understand is nobody owns the virtual space. Even some 90% or half of the social media platforms you own are headquartered in the United States. And people are on those social media platforms, including even the OnlyFans, doing the worst of the worst. But we've not seen their president issue a law to gag or zip it up and and just tell them, oh, you will not say, they're not. So what makes Kenya so special that you have to gag people, criminalize them, and tell them, oh, you should not speak up, we are implementing this, you're doing this? It means there's something off, and that's absolute dictatorship. But you cannot talk about it, because if you talk about it, they'll send DCI. Some 90% of the people that were, say, abducted, fished, arrested, and just cornered, most of the accounts were issued to the NIS. And Rigathi Gachagua and even Martha Karua, they spoke loudly and said the NIS is being used to trust the Gen Zs who are loud, expressing things that were uncomfortable. And it was not just the Gen Zs themselves, even the boomers, literally the whole entire generation was uncomfortable. So when you speak up, they send people to abduct you and torture you. And that's the NIS. So they criminalized everything, and now they're criminalizing dissent, and now using the Cybercrimes Act. And this is something Rigathi Gachagua talked about it, even Martha Karua, even Kalonzo Musyoka, even Eugene Wamalwa, Now they want to have the back-end operations for Instagram and X, so that when you say something, they come directly at you. And that's why it should not even be allowed. Like, X should not have offices in Kenya, Meta, and because what will happen is politicians use it to their advantage to exploit people, to gag dissent, so that they oppress people and do what they want without consulting or being in the same tune with the citizen. And that's oppression. That's oppression, and that's slavery. And that's colonialism still. That's wickedness. So you shouldn't say anything on social media, and that's where the world is. Nobody owns the virtual space. There's no constitutional law or a landmark ruling universally that says if you say this and this, it's cybercrime. It's only crime if it infringes on the freedoms of the person, and that includes the human rights as well. But who kills you on social media and you die literally? But it depends on the constitution of the country. But I find it to be just ridiculous, and I believe Justice Maraga should continue with the quest to ensure that that law is done away with, and many others that were signed, especially the Land Act. There's another one as well, plus many others. What do you make of this?